Welcome to Are You Quizzing Me? I am Vineet Nair with my co-host Aditya Kashyap. This is a quizzing trivia podcast show. Join us as we dive deep into history, science, pop culture, and so much more. Let's get quizzing. And we're back for episode number 95 of Are You Quizzing Me? Your favorite quizzing and trivia podcast show. Aditya and I are back for another round of quizzing. And let's start off without any further ado with the audience question. You may know that most airports have IATA airport codes, which are like short 3 letters which denote which airport they are. Say, for example, Cochin is COK, Delhi is DEL, and so on and so forth. There are so many of those. So my question to you, my dear audience, is this. Connect these 3 IATA airport codes, MLH, EAP, and BSL. Let me repeat that. MLH, EAP, BSL. I will reveal the answer to this question at the end of today's episode. Now that, as I can see, that Aditya does not have any oil in hand and has elected to keep his hair non-massaged today, let's ask him to start off the proceedings for today. Aditya?
Okay. After that very slick jab,
okay, yeah, pun intended. Yes, sir. Yeah.
I'm here with my questions. And for today's first question, I'm going to ask you something about your field of work, about the field of medicine. Though perhaps slightly laterally related and not completely on the nose.
So you're saying it's not an ENT question?
Yeah, you're right. It's not an ENT question. So, here's the story. A UK-based family of doctors published a paper where they were trying to identify a certain trend amongst medical professionals. So this cheeky, tongue-in-cheek article identified this trend, including a number of examples as they pored over the medical register from UK's General Medical Council. They found examples amongst urologists, amongst pediatricians, and they themselves were from the specialty of orthopedics. This trend or this phenomenon was also found outside the medical community as well, and data suggests that it influences people's occupation choices as much as 15% more than random chance would suggest their occupation should be. So I need you to identify this trend or this phenomenon that they found in the medical community, but like I said, also exists outside the medical field and affects people's choices or decisions as to what their occupation would be.
Okay, my first guess is going to be nominative determinism.
Wow, okay. I must admit that I try very hard to make these questions obscure and opaque, and you come out of nowhere and you just on your first guess get the right answer right off the bat. It's insane.
No, I have to give thanks to Jeremy Clarkson for this. Again, as listeners of the podcast know, I am a fan of the erstwhile show Top Gear when it was hosted by the original team headed by Jeremy Clarkson. So in between, there are these segments where the 3 of them just sit around a table and talk. And I remember the first time I ever heard the term nominative determinism was when Jeremy Clarkson was talking about, and forgive me, I can't remember the name of the gentleman right now, but the man who was, I think, heading Aston Martin, and he had a name which was very, I think, related to being cool or to Aston Martin or to automobiles. I don't remember, but I remember Jeremy Clarkson saying that with a name like that, it's no surprise that he ended up heading up Aston Martin. And then I think it was James May or somebody, again, forgive me if my memory is wrong, who said that it was nominative determinism. So the moment you said that they were looking at the registry, I knew it had to be something demographic related and the name related thing. So I was going to suggest, how many urologists are named Dick, something like that.
You're right. I'm thoroughly impressed, as I am in every single episode, by the way. They did find urology experts with the name Dick, Cox, Ball, and Waterfall. As well as pediatricians with the names Boys, Gal, Child, and Kinder. Kinder obviously being German for child.
Okay. And if there were any Mallu Christian pediatricians, they might have also come across the name Baby.
Oh yeah, that would that would be funny. Okay, I'll also ask you to try to guess what the name of the doctors themselves was in question. I mentioned they were orthopedics.
Okay. Bones?
Ooh, nice. It was actually limb.
Limb. Oh, okay. Doctor's Limb. Nice. No, because I was thinking of Susan Bones from Harry Potter, so then.
Yeah, very cool actually. Okay, do you know who first popularized the idea of nominative determinism?
No, that I do not know.
I'll give it to you. It was Carl Jung. Carl
Oh,
Jung was the one who first suggested it. Do you know who he cited as an example? That's actually even more interesting.
no. Napoleon, the Lion of Naples?
No, I'll give you a hint. Jung gave the example of the only other psychologist that everybody else knows.
Sigmund Freud?
Exactly, Freud, who studied pleasure and whose name means joy.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, what a cool little coincidence. Or maybe not a coincidence, as nominative determinism would suggest. Maybe people have a higher likelihood, maybe 15% more likely to end up in a profession that their name is linked to.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like I mentioned, it has been found across professions. So even other surnames which are common like baker, barber, butcher, painter, people with those names are likely to end up in professions related to that.
That would be a recursive kind of thing because these names actually came from professions. And now, because they have these names, they are ending up in those same professions either. So, somebody like Schneider turning up to be a tailor.
Yeah, and maybe there is something to be said about people ending in prof- in
You must forgive the interruptions from Aditya's side. I think there's a ghost in his apartment.
Yes, apologies. I am apparently being haunted by the ghosts of trivia past.
Oh, smooth.
But yeah, I think there's something to be said about people ending up in professions that they have some sort of familial background in. Though I imagine after several generations that effect would not be as prominent. So maybe it has to do with the fact that a lot of your friends keep calling you painter or teasing you about being a painter because your last name is painter, and subconsciously that nudges you towards becoming an actual painter. Actually, funnily enough, a lot of journalists have collected examples of this in various professions. San Francisco Chronicle columnist Herb Kane actually used to report on this. Usually examples sent in by their readers like a substitute teacher by the name of Mr. Fillin, piano teacher Patience Scales,
Oh, nice.
and the Vatican spokesman on the evils of rock and roll, Cardinal Rap Song.
Oh, that is precious.
Another journalist for Washington Post collected examples as well. Food industry consultant by the name of Faith Popcorn, an army lieutenant called Sergeant, tax accountant called Shelby Goldgrab.
Okay.
So yeah, hilarious examples and names all over the place.
Nice.
So yeah, well cracked. That was lightning fast.
Yes. Let's move on very quickly to an audience suggested question. So this question was sent in to us via email by Aryan Chandra from IIT Kanpur. Aditya, I'm fairly sure you'd be able to crack this, but it's a nice question, so I thought I'd put it in. X is a piece of tech that most of us are quite familiar with. It was the result of a great collaboration between two pioneering companies at the time, a Dutch company Y and a Japanese company Z. So X is the tech, Y is a Dutch company, Z is a Japanese company. The form factor of X is a direct result of what Y was trying to improve upon. Although they are almost directly, completely different in their way of functioning, X was supposed to look like a smaller version of what it sought to replace. As it turned out, as most things in the tech industry, X is now obsolete. However, the thing that it was supposed to replace has now made a big resurgence. So, what is X and which companies are we talking about?
Wait, X was to replace Y?
No. Y is a company. Y is a Dutch company. Z is a Japanese company. X was supposed to replace something, and its form factor was decided upon by Y because they wanted it to look like the thing it was replacing. X is now obsolete. However, the thing it was supposed to replace has now had a resurgence.
Dutch and Japanese, you said, right?
Yes, so that's the big clue. I was almost going to leave it as X and Y, but then I realized that it would be very difficult to crack without me at least telling you the nationalities of the companies. That should be able to help you work backwards, hopefully.
Dutch-Japanese collaboration in tech.
And Aryan, I just wanted to thank you for the question and also apologize for editing the question a little bit, because there were some phrases in it which would have just made it a cakewalk for Aditya. So I just had to.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind that because currently I'm a little lost. You haven't given me a time frame, right?
I have not given you time frame. Again, my suggestion to you would be to work backwards from the Dutch and Japanese companies.
I know a few Japanese tech companies, but I don't know if I know any Dutch tech companies.
Oh, you definitely know this company, but you may not know that they're Dutch. It's a very old company. Headquarters are in Amsterdam. Was founded in 1891.
Oh, a tech company founded in 1891.
Yes. And the Japanese company was founded in 1946.
Japanese company in 1946. Sony is younger than that, right?
Okay, I'm not going to... It is Sony. You've gotten Z right. Z is Sony.
Oh, I thought Sony was in the 50s.
No, 1946.
Okay. So 1946, Sony was trying to replace... Actually, when you said replace, I was trying to think of something along the lines of audio equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And since it's Sony, I would say Walkman.
Okay.
But I can't imagine what they were trying to replace and why that is making a resurgence. Unless and until it is records. But that doesn't make a lot of sense. And the Dutch company... Oh, wait, Philips is a Dutch company. I forgot. Yeah, right, Philips.
Very good. Yeah, so it's a collaboration. The technology was developed as a collaboration between Philips and Sony. So what did they develop?
The only thing in the audio space I can think of is still the Walkman. But that's not it. So...
What if I told you this development was in the 1970s and 80s, and but it became popular in the 90s? Development for this apparently took a long time.
70s, 80s became popular in the 90s. Oh, is it actually in the audio space? Am I on the right track? Pun intended.
Yes, you are in the audio space. As I mentioned, it was developed in the 70s and 90s, and it was first released in Japan in October of 1982.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
You're very close. I mean, like you've almost got it. You're just going in the slightly wrong direction.
Is it a compact disc?
Okay, so if it were a CD, what was it replacing? Something which has made a comeback or a resurgence recently?
That's what I'm trying to think. What is making a resurgence now?
I can guarantee you, a man sitting in Bangalore is screaming at the audio right now, "Bro, what is this, bro? I told you about this, bro."
I love how Bertie features in every single episode now.
Okay, he asked us questions about this. Like he had a question, like you know how he spins questions out of his head, right? So then he looked around the room, found some...
So records, right? I said that earlier, records.
Okay, so I'll give it to you. It's vinyl. It replaced vinyl. CD was developed to replace vinyl, and it was replaced as a joint venture by Philips and Sony. First released in 1982.
Yeah, which is why earlier I said records, but are they making a resurgence apart from like collectors, I guess?
No, it's got a decent resurgence. Not just collectors, music enthusiasts. People like Bertie, they collect vinyl. A lot of things are now being re-released in vinyl. Pressings are being done for even new albums and whatnot. Everything has now like a vinyl version. It's not like a general resurgence, but yeah, I mean, like when you consider, say, for example, cassettes, other forms of technology which were used as data storage or audio storage, like cassettes, magnetic tapes, laser discs, all of these have gone completely obsolete and they've never come back.
Right, okay.
Yes, vinyl has made a comeback. There was a movie recently which released towards the end of the pandemic. It was called Hridayam. It was a Malayalam movie and it had a huge focus on its soundtrack, pretty decent, very good soundtrack. And they wanted to release audio cassettes of the soundtrack so that they could have a side A, side B kind of thing. However, because there were no companies or anybody doing audio cassettes still in India, they had to get it manufactured from Japan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So looking at that, I mean, like you can still find people pressing vinyl everywhere else.
Okay. Great question.
Yeah.
I guess it was my lack of knowledge about the resurging popularity of vinyls. Though now that you say it, I recall seeing stores in Mumbai. And yeah, I guess it is resurging, yeah, even in the city.
Yeah.
So dumb of me, because I assumed it was like random collectors only. But if there are a few stores in the city, that means there must be more than just the odd collector.
Definitely they do. Yeah. So that question was courtesy Aryan Chandra. So thank you, Aryan. I do have the rest of your questions and I will pepper them into these episodes as they come forward.
Yeah, thank you so much for your question. I look forward to the rest. And also thank you because it gives me a perfect segue, which happens rarely. Speaking of things that make a comeback, there was an Austrian born Hindu monk and professor of anthropology at Syracuse University by the name of Agehananda Bharati. He wrote something in 1970 in which he coined a specific phrase, and I need you to guess what the phrase was. I'll share some examples he gave to explain this phenomenon. The first one is the Apu trilogy of films by Satyajit Ray, ISKCON Temple and the ISKCON movement, the exalted status of Bhagavad Gita, and postural yoga. So these were the 4 examples, amongst others as well. These were the 4 examples that he cited.
Okay, so when you first said Apu trilogy, I was going to think of the glorification of poverty, but then ISKCON is directly the opposite of that. It's like capitalizing on religion. And then you have postural yoga. So is this like a resurgence of the exotic orient or something like that?
Yes, I'll give it to you. It is that. The segue was about things making a comeback.
Uh-huh.
So things that are from a country or a place and are culturally exported outside of it and eventually make a comeback, having gained recognition outside the place of origin. Another example would perhaps be Buddhism. Like Buddhism started in India but gained a lot more recognition outside of India.
Yeah.
And at some point, I guess, made a comeback to India as well.
Yeah, I think it was always in India a little bit to an extent, but...
Yeah, fair enough. So anyways, that's the phenomenon. But what is the name? That is the question.
Oh, it'll be something clever. Knowing you, it'll be something very clever.
It's not a pun. And perhaps you haven't heard of it, but I would suggest you think about food items that this has happened to, because the name is basically named after a food item. Something exported from a country of origin and gained popularity and maybe even modified slightly and has hence gained popularity back in its place of origin as well. Dash effect, where dash is a food item.
It's a food item. Is it a butter chicken effect?
I guess butter chicken has always been core to Indian food in India itself more than anywhere else. So...
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, is it the Kama Sutra effect? Like it was lost for a lot of years and now it's come back and become a big huge thing.
I don't know how exactly you're eating Kama Sutra as a food item for which meal, but okay.
Oh, there are so many answers for that question.
Okay, moving on.
This is a clean, family-friendly podcast, so let's move on.
Exactly.
That was just like a wide open goalpost, but chalo. I will refrain from shooting any goals. Food, something that's gone and then come back. I don't know, spices?
Not an ingredient, just a straight up food item that you would consume.
Something that went out of India and now has come back.
I never actually said India.
Dude, then you're opening up the entire world for this.
Oops, I guess, yeah.
Something that went out and then came back and became popular. Oh, what could that be? I need some clue. Apart from this very narrow clue that you've given me, that some food item from some country in the world went out and then came back and became popular.
Okay, fair enough. 2 clues. First is that it is ubiquitous. It is found in every major city across the world, this food item. And the second clue would be country of origin, think Europe.
Something of European origin, potatoes.
Again, like I said, not an ingredient, but a food item, a dish that you would consume.
Oh, like pizza.
The pizza effect, exactly. That's the answer I was looking for.
Oh, Oh, nice. Okay.
So yeah, while the history of this might be slightly disputed, but by the account of this particular professor, pizza was exported out of Italy and it got a lot of its frills and thrills in the US, and then it came back to Italy or made a resurgence, and there was some cross-country inspiration.
Cross-pollinated.
Cross-pollinated, yeah, that's actually a better word.
Oh, that's nice. That's a very nice word. The pizza effect. I will have to remember to use that in a conversation. Okay, that's great. Let me move on to something that's right up your alley. It's a very simple question, and it's something I'm fairly sure that you will enjoy. There is a basketball court in the US Supreme Court. So in the US Supreme Court building, there is a full-size basketball court.
Can I please flex?
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Okay, do we speak of the highest court in the land?
Yes, you do. Very nice. So, for our audience who may have been temporarily blinded by the flex that Aditya just did, let me just rewind the tape and tell you what the question was completely going to be. The fact is, there is a basketball court in the US Supreme Court, and the question was, what is the amazing nickname given to this court? And that play on words has not escaped Aditya. The nickname is the highest court in the land. Very, very well done, Aditya. Very well done.
Like you said, I think this is right up my alley.
Yeah, it is.
Something that I would remember, and probably one of those pieces of trivia that made me interested in trivia in the first place. Fun question. Just one of those pieces of trivia that you happen to know.
Mm-hmm.
Glad I cracked that faster than usual. I will move on to a piece of trivia that you might enjoy actually.
Okay.
The only segue I can think of is that in some twisted, long-winded way, this is also an American cultural artifact like the Supreme Court.
Oh, that's a very, very nice dig at the US justice system right now. The judicial system.
Ooh,
by
boy.
calling it an artifact.
I'm glad my weak segue became incisive political commentary on the status of the USA. But okay. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story. Tell me where this story has been popularized. A man in the military, a soldier, has a girlfriend, and when for military services he's deployed, his girlfriend back home gets bored, and to alleviate her boredom, let's say she decides to have fun with two of his friends. She isn't shamed for her desires, but is encouraged and told to live her best life, I guess. Initially, her name was Deanna, but that was eventually changed. So, where is this story popularly featured?
You said that the name was originally Diana.
Yes.
Shit, I was going for Dirty Diana by Michael Jackson, but no.
Yeah, no, the name was changed.
The name was changed. When your question started, my head started going in completely different directions. When you said first the soldier and the girlfriend, I thought it might be that fable about the origin of the rainbow cake and the wife waiting for the soldier coming back from war.
Oh, no. Okay, I have no idea what that is.
Okay, it's not that. And the second thought that had come to my mind was the Dear John letter. Right, so then I thought you were going about the movie Dear John or whatever. So then...
No.
It's not that either. I'm fairly sure this is a song. I'm fairly sure this will have to be a song.
Mm-hmm.
But then which song is the query?
Yep, that's what you have to crack.
So do I get any other clues?
Okay, let me give you a time frame. That's the first and the easiest clue. This was released in 1993.
It was released in 1993. Not great at remembering lyrics, so that's not going to help me. I've literally got Dirty Diana running in my head right now.
Oh, no, nothing like that. Actually, it's not even a Michael Jackson song, if that helps.
Girlfriend seeks the comfort of two of his friends, but is lauded for it.
Not lauded specifically, but is not shamed for it, as sometimes you can imagine in a story like this someone might be.
Would I be wrong in thinking the artist is a female?
Nope, not a woman.
Okay. Do I know the song?
Oh, 100%. Everybody knows this song.
Oh, no. 1993, I was listening to Michael Jackson at best. That's the only thing I can remember from 1993. But, hey, is it a Hindi song?
No, not a Hindi song.
Okay.
I'll give you another hint. It's not even an English song.
Oh, wait. Is this the Macarena?
It is the Macarena. Yes.
Oh. Oh, okay. It's about a. Okay, I had no clue what the lyrics meant. I remember as a kid we went, oh, Macarena, oh, Macarena. Nobody knew the lyrics.
Yeah, no, exactly. And we didn't understand any Spanish back then. But let me assure you that the song talks about a woman cheating on her boyfriend, Vittorino, with the encouragement of the singer.
Oh.
And then it gained massive popularity, and we all remember dancing to it even as kids, which actually, if you think about it, is a weird juxtaposition. So, yeah, that's the origin story of Macarena. And Macarena is the name of the woman, which is kind of weird because it is also the name of the singer's daughter. And the song is about sexual activity. So,
Oh, dude, that's just.
yeah, strange choice, definitely. But okay. At least her name is immortalized in pop culture, so there's that. And that's the story behind one of the most iconic songs ever.
Wow. Okay. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
That was a very good question. I don't know how I'm going to segue from that into here, but by saying that this was a Spanish song, and let's move east from Spain to another country in Europe, and we land in Germany.
Okay.
So you've heard of Volkswagen, right? Volkswagen.
I have.
The Volkswagen Group. They sell millions and millions of cars, right? 9.2 million cars, or at least vehicles in 2023, I think it was. But their highest selling single product is a original part numbered 199398500A. Okay, so it's a Volkswagen original part 199398500A, which I think the highest it ever sold was 7 million of these parts were sold in 2019.
Okay.
Okay. Simple question. What is this? What I'm talking about? What is this part? What is this Volkswagen original part 199398500A?
That's a very specific question. So, what is it, like a part of a car?
It is branded as Volkswagen Originalteil, which translates to Volkswagen original part, and it's sold under the part number 199398500A.
I like how you said so many things, but you didn't answer my question. Is it a part of a car? So, I'm assuming it's not a part of a car, but is it like car adjacent? Is it automobile adjacent?
Yes, it is adjacent to a car, or in at least in the plant anyway, it's adjacent to cars.
Okay, so is it related to the world of automobiles, maybe in a tangential way?
Yes, it is related to the world of automobiles, yes.
I love it when you're being confounding, Vineet. Okay, a German thing.
Oh, very, very German.
Okay, so beer, but beer is the last thing that should be tangentially related to automobiles.
No, it's not beer.
Oh man, for a second I thought I definitely cracked it, like a beer that fuels a car. That'd be cool. Okay, but not a beer, so it has to be German, not a beer. Any clues?
Okay, so let me just put it this way. This was first manufactured in 1973.
So a rather recent development.
Yeah, it's won various awards and it's sold in 11 countries, but it's not available in the United States.
Okay, so are we talking like a specific type? Like if the example was beer, it would be like a specific brand of beer, because that could be recent, but beer itself is not new. So is it something along those lines?
When you say an item, it is an item. It is branded as a Volkswagen item.
Yeah, okay, but the generic item itself is not a recent invention, right?
No. It was not invented in 1973, but it is something which is invented in 1949.
Oh, okay. So either way, it's not very long ago.
Yeah.
Because I was going to guess something along the lines of food, maybe.
It was invented by a lady, actually. Herta Charlotte Huer.
A lady. So I'm going to make a gender stereotyped guess. Is it some sort of textile or clothing item?
Oh, no.
Maybe because I was still thinking about beer, so I thought Oktoberfest, the beer maid's outfit.
It is adjacent to beers as well. Like if you went to Oktoberfest, you would definitely also find this item there.
Oh, so some sort of food like a bratwurst,
It is a food. It is a food.
but not a bratwurst.
Okay.
A German sausage?
Yes. Okay. Great. I'll give it to you. It's a currywurst.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So basically, it's a currywurst, and for our audience, a currywurst is basically a German sausage which is sold with curry ketchup, and curry ketchup is ketchup which is spiced with curry powder.
Hold your horse-powered horses.
Okay.
Did you just say Volkswagen made currywurst? Why was Volkswagen making currywurst?
Yeah, I'm getting to that. Let me get back to that question. Volkswagen, okay, let me just pronounce that correctly. Volkswagen, original part number 199398500A, is a sausage, specifically a currywurst, which is manufactured within the Wolfsburg Volkswagen plant by a team of 30 people.
Okay.
Okay, so it was invented, or it was first produced in 1973 as food for its workers at the Volkswagen plant.
Oh.
Originally, it was a blend of pork and beef, but after the mad cow disease outbreak of the 1990s, they removed beef and now it's purely pork. It's won prizes at German food fairs, and around 40% of its production is consumed within restaurants at its 6 German factories. So 40% is for people who work inside Volkswagen factories. So which is why I said that food is actually adjacent. I was being literal. It's adjacent to the factories and the cars. The remainder is sold at external shops, supermarkets, football stadiums. In the US, they're not able to sell it because of rules in the US on the import of uncooked meat.
Okay.
It's a currywurst. If I'm not mistaken, they've also made a vegetarian version.
Okay.
Yeah, and German Chancellor Gerhard Schröder was not particularly happy with that they made a vegetarian version. He basically said that currywurst with fries is one of the power bars of the skilled production worker. It should stay that way.
Interesting.
Volkswagen's single largest selling product is a sausage.
Pretty cool.
And if you are anywhere in Europe and you want to buy one of these, or in one of the other 11 countries where you could get it, a pack of sausages and a bottle of ketchup for this Volkswagen currywurst retails for approximately €9.
Okay, so not that expensive, especially given how great you're making it sound right now. Considering going to Europe just to get one now.
Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Vineet, you sneaky man, I see what you did there with that adjacent.
I
That literal translation wordplay. I respect that.
was being truth adjacent.
Haha. You obfuscating man, you. Okay, so since you threw some numbers at me, I'm going to throw a number-based question right back at you.
Okay.
But first, some background information about Belphegor. Do you know Belphegor?
Well,
Okay, so in the Abrahamic religions, Belphegor is one of the 7 princes of hell. Belphegor was charged with helping people making ingenious inventions and discoveries.
okay.
The question is about Belphegor's prime, which was discovered by Harvey Dubner and coined by Clifford Pickover. This prime number has some very interesting features. So given the name and the context, can you try to make a guess as to what these features could be that make it Belphegor's prime, one of the 7 princes of hell? How is that associated? What would make it unique? Give it me anything even closely related, and I'll declare you the winner of this question.
So Belphegor, you mentioned, was one of the princes of hell.
Yep.
He was responsible, it was responsible for inventions, you said?
Helping people make ingenious inventions and discoveries.
In return for their souls, obviously. It's not like he did that from the goodness of his heart.
I don't have details about the transaction, but sure, let's assume that's what happened.
I've watched enough Supernatural to know.
So you're the authority.
Okay, and is the prime? Oh. Is it that the closest other prime and this 666 digits apart? Or something like that?
Okay, I'll kind of give it to you because 666 is in the number itself. The digits 666 appear together in Belphegor's prime.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So imagine a number which is multiple digits long and 666 does appear in it. Can you give me anything else that might be a feature?
Does 666 appear? Okay, first of all, can you tell me how many digits long this number is, this particular prime?
Okay, good question. I'll give it to you. It is 31 digits long.
It's 31 digits in length.
Exactly.
Can it be expressed as the power of something? No, but then that wouldn't make it a prime, right?
Yep.
Oh, wait, is it 2 raised to 666 minus 1?
Ooh, not a bad Wait, did you say 2 raised to the power 666?
Yeah, no, so because
that
I
would
remember...
be an astronomically huge number.
It would. No, because the reason I remembered this was there is one of the formulas that is used for certain primes, I don't remember which particular prime that is 2 raised to n minus 1.
Right.
I don't remember. I'm blanking on it now, but one of the formulas was that. So then I was like, oh, is it one of those? But obviously it's not.
No, that would be a much larger number.
Yeah, it would.
This is only 31 digits in length. So take a wild guess. I already said 31 digits. So...
Is also a prime.
Also prime, but think more superstition.
It's 13 backwards.
Okay, so 13. How do you think 13 is featured in this number? So you already know 3 of the digits are 6s. 2 more digits are 1s.
Okay.
Take wild guesses about the other digits.
Are they all 9s?
Okay, you know what? This is a tough one, so I'll give it to you. You got a fair bit of the answer. Belphegor's prime is 1, followed by 13 zeros, followed by 666, followed by 13 zeros, and followed by 1.
Oh, nice.
Which brings it to 31 digits. And I love it because there are 13 zeros in the front, 13 zeros in the back, 666 in the middle, and the ones to bookend it all. Very cool.
It's also a palindromic number.
Yeah, it's a palindromic number as well.
Wow. That's nice. That is très magnifique. That is very good. I really like that.
Yeah, I love it that this happens to be a prime number. Such an interesting overlap of superstition and mathematics.
Yeah.
By the way, if you had to say it out loud in English, this would be 1 nonillion 66 quadrillion 600 trillion 1. Go figure.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that. Okay. That was a fantastic question, and I will try to remember that. Belphegor you mentioned, right? How do you spell that?
Belphegor.
Belphegor. Nice. Prince of Hell. Okay. I'm going to move into it's like an excuse to just put this trivia in front of you. So, excuse me if I'm not able to give you too many clues, but it's a simple 1-sentence question. Which is the only band in the world to have performed in all 7 continents?
Ooh, I love this. A very classic trivia question because sometimes in this podcast we go really into the weeds.
Yeah.
Like Belphegor's prime. I love this. Okay. A band that has performed on all 7 continents. A band that has performed in Antarctica, I would say, can't be older than the 90s. Though I guess the Beatles could have gone there, maybe.
Not likely. They were only around for around 8 years or something, right?
Yeah, that's true. They were there for a short time. And anyways, technologically, I think this has to be post the 90s. Would that be a fair assumption?
You're talking about the event itself or...
That and let's say the band's peak popularity was also 90s and thereafter?
No. They have been popular through... They are one of the very few bands which I can say have been popular throughout their entire very, very long career.
Ooh, okay. So very long career. That does narrow it down. Oh, leads me to U2.
Okay, U2 has had a very long career. I do agree with the fact that they've had a very long career. But let's just say that even though U2's had a very, very long career, much longer than this band, they're just them. I mean, like, they're just amazing. Their songs are known throughout the world. And I will also give you a clue that they formed in 1981 in Los Angeles, California.
Oh, 1981.
And I'll give you another clue. Their logo is really, really famous.
Vineet, that is true for a lot of bands.
True for a lot of bands. Yeah, that is true. But not for a lot of them. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I take it back. I don't know the logos for most bands. Okay, 1981 and American, right?
Yes.
American band 80s. Nirvana is later than that, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. They're in the 90s. This band again made its Indian debut. They performed for the first time in Bangalore in 2011.
Oh, okay. So not that long ago. Have they been here since then? Like, how many India tours have they done? That might help.
They've had a couple, I think, but I don't have the exact number in front of me.
So definitely more than one. Okay.
I can also tell you that the concert that they played in Antarctica was in 2013.
Okay.
It was a one-off concert and it was called Freeze Them All. Freeze Them All.
Freeze Them All. Is that a play on their song or their album?
Oh, they released it as an album. Basically, the live performance in Antarctica was then released as an album.
Okay, that doesn't help because I was hoping it's wordplay, but if it's the actual album name, I've never heard of it, so that doesn't help. Any other trivia related to this band? Maybe some etymology?
They've sold 125 million records worldwide.
Okay.
They have been ranked the third greatest heavy metal band in history.
Heavy metal, okay.
They ranked 42nd on VH1's 100 greatest artists of all time. They were number 5 on 100 greatest artists of hard rock and number 1 on VH1's 20 greatest metal bands.
Metal, heavy metal, rock, okay. I'm going to take a guess and I'm going to say Iron Maiden.
Oh, no. Unfortunately, it's not. So I'll give you one very last clue. So you remember when Running Up the Hill became a huge hit a couple of years ago?
Yeah, because of Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, yes. So there was another song which was performed in that same episode.
Ooh.
And that belonged to the character of Eddie Munson, at least I think that was his name, playing this particular song on top of a trailer in the Upside Down with a sick guitar solo.
Oh, I remember this. It was a very cool guitar solo. It was a very cool visual. Also, by the way, a great episode because of these songs being featured.
Yes.
Oh, such an iconic moment. Okay, I'm going to take a guess because the only other famous metal band I know is Metallica. So is it Metallica?
Yes, it is Metallica. So, very good.
Okay.
Yeah, so Metallica is the only band in the world to have performed on all 7 continents. Freeze Them All was a one-off concert played in Antarctica on December 8th, 2013. It took place in a dome near the heliport of the Carlini base in Argentine Antarctica. It was attended by 120 people, ranging from members of the base's research team and winners of a sweepstake offered by the Coca-Cola company. The concert featured 10 songs played over the span of an hour. As to prevent noise pollution, the show was played without any traditional amplification and was instead transmitted to the audience through headphones.
So cool, literally.
Now that I told you, you do remember what logo they have, right? They have a very iconic Metallica logo.
The M with the lightning thing happening. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, that logo was designed by lead singer James Hetfield.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
Metallica is the band which has played in all 7 continents. And again, coming back to what we talked about on Stranger Things, it's featured on the season finale of Stranger Things. Eddie Munson is playing the track to attract the bats. And following that appearance in Stranger Things, the song regained popularity. It entered the US, UK and Netherlands charts for the first time since its original release in 1986. Which again, the song is Master of Puppets, which is the eponymous song from the album itself, Master of Puppets. And I would definitely recommend that scene where Eddie Munson's playing that in Stranger Things is just badass.
Such a cool scene.
Yeah, it is. So, I think that's all the time we have for our regular quizzing. So, before we start winding up, there is the small matter of the audience question which I had asked at the beginning of the episode. As you know, all airports have IATA codes, which are unique to that particular airport. Those are International Air Transport Association codes. Like I give an example, COK is Cochin, DEL is New Delhi, LAX is Los Angeles. So similarly, what connects these three IATA airport codes? MLH, EAP, and BSL. Aditya, do you have any idea?
MLH.
Then BSL and EAP.
Okay, so I've definitely heard this because, and I don't know how many times this has come up before, this particular piece of trivia is featured in a CGP Grey video and he talks about airport codes in that.
Yes, it would be.
So go check out the video, but currently I'm a little lost. Give me a hint.
My first clue is that I told you a lie when I just was explaining the question just now before I asked you whether you know anything. I mentioned one small fib. Or rather, this is the exception to that rule.
You did ask me if I know anything and maybe that was a lie. Maybe I don't. Wow, am I being visited by the ghost of trivia present now? Okay. You mentioned that every airport is given a unique IATA code. Oh, is this by any chance the only places that are non-airports given an IATA code?
No, these three codes.
Oh, wait. They're given to the same airport.
Yes, they're all given to the same airport. The Euro Airport Basel Mulhouse Freiburg in the tri-national Euro district of Basel, which is a 4.7 kilometers west of the tri-point of France, Germany, and Switzerland.
Right.
So each of these countries have a specific code to it, but all of them point towards the same airport. And it is the only international airport with more than one IATA code.
Okay, I remembered this and it probably is in the video for sure.
Yeah, so that's the audience question. Aditya, what's your pop culture recommendation for this week?
Okay, so I have two pop culture recommendations for today. And the first one, I'm going to give you something that I haven't given in a while. I'm going to give you a game. And tangentially, I've never said this in the past, but I'll say it now. The NYT games are a lot of fun. So check those out. And this particular game is a spin-off of Wordle, or inspired by Wordle, which is now a New York Times game, an NYT game, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
This one is called Bolly Riddle, which is a Bollywood movie title guessing game.
Oh!
You get 7 chances to guess which movie it is, and it's super fun because it's very simple. You just start off by putting in the name of a Bollywood movie, and there are multiple things that are features of the movie like year of release, cast, director, music director, production house, and writers. So if any of those overlap with the movie that you have guessed, it'll immediately show up on the board. If not, you keep guessing. It's fun. I always start with like a multi-starrer. Hopefully get an actor in common with the actual answer or a production house or director or whatever and go from there. So for all the Bollywood fans, I would definitely suggest Bolly Riddle. It's a fun game, especially if you like Wordle and all of its spin-offs as well. The other thing I would recommend is a Netflix show. It's called A Man on the Inside. This show is made by some of the people who are responsible for the fun shows of the last few decades like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Office, Good Place as well. So if you enjoyed those shows, you probably will enjoy this one as well. Lovers of Good Place, also a phenomenal show by the way, because the series finale is so beautiful. Lovers of that show would recognize Ted Danson in this show as well. Or I guess if you're slightly older, you might remember him from Cheers.
This is sacrilege. You are recommending Ted Danson from A Good Place? Come on, man. 3 Men and a Baby? Cheers.
Okay, Vineet, as every advertising guru will tell you, the key demographic to care for is 18 to 25.
Oh.
You always cater to them. I doubt most of them have even seen a single episode of Cheers.
Oh, my blood is boiling.
See, now I think it's the turn of the ghosts of Trivia Future to come visit you and tell you that you have to accept the inevitable passage of time, Vineet. But yes, okay, I'll indulge you. Ted Danson did gain fame through Cheers, and funnily enough, Good Place features a scene where he is behind a bar counter paying homage to Cheers, and spoiler alert, that happens in Man on the Inside as well, where he's behind the bar.
Okay, this is my gripe. The man has acted in so many other movies. He's acted in Body Heat, for Christ's sake. He was in Saving Private Ryan. He was on 4 seasons of CSI. He had his own show called Becker. And people are now remembering him for A Good Place. Ted Danson, I am sorry for the world. and people forgetting who you are.
Okay, an unequivocal apology to Ted Danson fans all over. He is obviously a phenomenal actor and he does a great job in this show as well. So do yourself a favor and check out A Man on the Inside. It's on Netflix. And those are my 2 recommendations for the day.
Okay. My first recommendation is a movie which I cannot believe I have not recommended till now. Because I watched this, I can actually say this, decades ago. So this movie is from 2003. It's called Second-Hand Lions. Have you heard of this movie, Aditya?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's a beautiful movie. It's a beautiful coming-of-age movie. And it has a fantastic cast in it. So you have Robert Duvall, you have Haley Joel Osment, you have Michael Caine,
Wow.
Kyra Sedgwick. It's an amazing cast. But what really puts us apart is the storyline. It's got an amazing script and the best introductory dialogue, or rather, there's a dialogue in that movie. I'm going to spoil it a little bit. I really don't care. But there's a bar scene where an aged Robert Duvall is being hassled by this greaser punk. The kid asks him, "Who do you think you are, huh?" And Robert Duvall's character, Hub, catches him by the neck, presses him against the bar, and delivers this line, which is "I'm Hub McCann. I fought in 2 world wars and countless smaller ones on 3 continents. I led thousands of men into battle with everything from horses and swords to artillery and tanks. I've seen the headwaters of the Nile and tribes of natives no white man had ever seen before. I've won and lost a dozen fortunes, killed many men, and loved only one woman with a passion, a flea like you could never begin to understand. That's who I am." Oh,
Nice.
chills. Every time I watch that, chills. It's a little difficult to get, but you should be able to find the movie somewhere. So I would definitely recommend. It's a good Sunday afternoon coming of age movie. It's not no action or anything. It's very dialogue heavy. It's a very character driven drama. And my second recommendation is something which I've been very busy recently, but I've had to take 3-hour flights around 4 times in the past month, which has enabled me to completely binge a show while on the plane. And that is Day of the Jackal. Eddie Redmayne and Lashana Lynch in a modern adaptation of the classic Frederick Forsyth novel, which is one of my favorite novels. It's a very slow novel for somebody from this era or this generation, but I remember it as being one of my favorites. And they have done a fantastic job adapting it. There was one particular thing which I had a gripe with, which was, if you've read the book or if you've seen the 1970s movie, you know there is a twist at the end. And that particular twist is missing. In fact, they've turned it on its head in this movie. But again, they've also changed the ending. So then I'm okay with it a little bit. In either case, Eddie Redmayne has done a fantastic job. Lashana Lynch, fantastic job. You should really go watch Day of the Jackal. It's available on Geo Cinema in India. Go and watch that. So those are my 2 recommendations. Second-Hand Lions, a 2003 movie, and Day of the Jackal, which is a 2024 adaptation of the 1972 novel by Frederick Forsyth. And that's all the time we have for our episode today. Thank you all for listening in, and I hope you enjoyed the show. You learned something new. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform wherever you're listening to our show on. This helps us reach a wider audience and allows more people to discover and enjoy the show. Word of mouth also helps. If you like the show, recommend it to a friend or even an enemy. We'd love to hear from you, feedback, suggestions, even trivia. You can send questions to us that you want asked on the show, like we did for Aryan's question this week. You just have to send us a question at areyouquizzingme@gmail.com. But be sure to mention the name of the quizmaster whom you want to ask the question in the subject line. We have a community on Reddit, subreddit r/areyouquizzingme. Feel free to post anything there. And we are also available on YouTube, thanks to Aditya. You can also reach us on Instagram at areyouquizzingme. We appreciate your support and look forward to sharing more episodes with you in the future. Thanks again for tuning in and have a great day.
See you guys next week.